jìnnà sí wọn bí sánmọ̀ sílẹ̀ o ara ló ń ta wọn ṣe mọ́ o náà bá sunkún sójú tẹ̀rẹ́ má ti fi ìgbín sọ kó fẹ́ yẹ ẹyẹ fò lọ ìgbín sọnù sígbó wọ́n dúró títí ọwọ́ wọn ò tó ìṣó máa ṣe ta ní kókó ṣòkòtò tí olókùn ó dá kìtìyàn ó dórí àwọn lọ́tẹ̀ o. Ṣí mi lọ́nà o mo tẹ́rí bá fà dàgbà o àgbà ẹ̀ foríjì ni ojoojúmọ́ ni mo ń pọ́n wọn lé mo ń ṣèyá sí àwọn àgbà o mi ò fojú tí rìn wọn láyé ọmọdé ẹ má fàgbà ṣe yẹ̀yẹ́ torí oníkọ́ tó lè ọlá ní ọmọdé ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà o màmá ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà o. Máa ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà o. Ọmọdé ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà. Ọmọdé ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà o. Ọmọdé ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà. Bọ́lájú kòkòrò bá gbẹ́ran nígbó tó bá fúnra ẹ̀pín ló dára jù o. Kọ̀wé mi á jẹ́ dàgbà o. Èyí mo rí màrò ẹ̀kọ́ gbogbo náà ní ilé ayé. Sùúrù ní ṣẹ́gun ohun gbogbo. Ẹ má ṣèké mo ní ẹ má dalẹ̀. Forí orí kìlọ̀ ló jẹ́ ẹni forí wórí yóò ṣàbàmọ́ àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́ láyé o. nílé ayé o. àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́ láyé. àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́ láyé. àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́ láyé. dẹ́bìtọ̀ rẹ̀ àtàrà ilé o. àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́ láyé. àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́ láyé. àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́. Ṣòkòtò wọn múra wọn sáré kẹrù sọkọ o àyànmọ́ ògbóògùn wo wọn ò béèrè lọ́wọ́ orí mórí lọ́mọ mẹ́wàá lọ ìyàwó ohun tí ẹ wá lọ sí Ṣòkòtò ohun lẹ lágbo Ṣòkòtò mo sọ àkúnlẹ̀yàn ọmọ ẹ̀dá láyé kò lè yí padà mo ń tẹnu mọ́ o olórí làlá bàrò orí làlá bàrò olórí làlá bàrò mo lórí làlá bàrò olórí làlá bàrò orí mi gbé mi níjà o olórí làlá bàrò làlá bàrò olórí làlá bàrò oríjà jogun ìkànnì wọn rí wọn fi wá fáyé mu nílé ayé wa o olúwa àgbẹ̀ wa níjà o àmì nílé ayé wa ó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ọ̀tá kọ́ ni wá ó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ọ̀tá kọ́ lẹ́yìn ṣọ́wa nínú ọ̀pá wọn kìnìún ejò olóró àkekèé ṣọ́wa nínú ìdàgìrì ayé dáàbò ẹ̀bùn wá fi ṣọ́rẹ́ ṣọ́wa o mo sádì ọba bá lókè o mo sádì ọba bá lókè o mo sádì ọba bá lókè mo máa sádì ọba bá lókè o mo sádì ọba bá lókè o olúwa gbé wa níjà o mo sádì ọba bá lókè o kó má fi wá sílẹ̀ o mo sádì ọba bá lókè o olúwa má fi wá sílẹ̀ o mo sádì ọba bá lókè o àwọn ọ̀tá tí wọ́n rè rajọ ìbànújẹ́ ti bá àwọn ọ̀tá nílé àwọn ọ̀tá tí wọ́n rè rajọ ìbànújẹ́ ti bá àwọn ọ̀tá nílé.
Bikin zama shakallo.
Peace, Olúrẹ̀mí Tinubu'S lady.
Sai
mata, 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 mata.
ai dama,
Mata, 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 mata.
ai hauni,
Ku tattafa,
za mu gaida fasilaki mata,
dan taka,
za mu gaida fasilaki mata,
ku dan juya.
za mu gaida fasilaki mata,
Daga bakwai a tela na budar dinki.
mata,
Nan motsa sai ya bani mamaki.
mata,
Direbobi dole sai da kutuki.
mata,
Sarki ranar hawa ya hau doki.
mata,
Ashe morewar kuɗi a kai banki.
mata,
Idan za ka aje ruwa ka sai tanki.
mata,
Ashe gona za ta so a kai taki.
mata,
Kuna ku daban ne.
ashe na ku da
Mata da ku nake ku gane.
da ku nake ku gane,
Kuna ku kullum zabari
na
ne.
ku kullum zabari ne,
Sai da ku ko a ina ne.
sai da ku ko a ina ne.
And there it is right there. There it is right there. Whatever it is that the Aboki said is exactly what it is. So whatever it is that the Aboki said is exactly what it is. They said, Ataba taba taba Tinubu, taba 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 Tinubu. So Tinubu taba taba, according to the Abokis from, I wonder how many millions of dollars put that together. You know, this is a cashing out period for so many people, a cashing out period. We're seeing the obedience cash out handover feast. We're seeing the Yopis from the southeast, the Obi Kubanas, the Kubana chief priest, the e-money and the white monies. We're seeing them cashing out handover feast. We're seeing Aisha Yesufu cash out. She's been cashing out 3 years solid. And everybody's just, the only person not cashing out, oh, unfortunately, is one man. The one man is not cashing out at all. Oh. In fact, one man is not even cashing in. But we do it for the game more than anything else. But whatever, you know, those things don't come cheap. Oh. That guy was not playing that song for the love of Tinubu or anything. That was a commission. I'm sure you know that. But if you don't know that, then no. That guy was not doing it for the love of the game or the love of the country, or he especially thinks Tinubu is great or Tinubu is terrible. He has no opinion. He's a hired gun. He's a hired help. He's a minstrel for hire. He's a dollar musician and he's cashed out fully. So all that. So all that. Good day to you. Good to be in your company and all that. Good day to you. Good to be in your company. Always a delight every time I join you guys. Apologies for the somewhat skittish. We come and then we go. We come and then we go. It's not the spirit is willing, but the window doesn't often open. That's just what it is. I run a very busy household, as some of you may or may not know. And sometimes the window just does not open. That's even why we open so late. No, let me not show you actually. So apologies. So take what you can get for now. But as we build up to the elections, we become the flesh is not even weak, but the flesh is willing. It's just that the window just doesn't open sometimes. And then sometimes when eventually the window does open, I'm too beaten up by the course of the day, you know, to be of any use, you know. And if I'm not having fun, then what's the point in me being here? So it has to be fun for me to do it. But it's always fun to be in your company, by the way. The protocol, of course, you know the protocol. The protocol remains the same. Click on the like. And also another thing that this incentivizes me. Disincentivizes, is that the word? Another thing that disincentivizes me is that there's not much going on in the news cycle anymore. So it's very difficult sometimes to pick together what we wrap a session around. You know, at least we have to have some talking points before the panel comes in, and then the flow is more organic. But the election is already done. So there is nothing going on with the elections anymore. You know, the obedience have cried till they've exhausted themselves. You know, Tinubu has slaughtered everybody, and we can now see the carcasses of the dead body all over the place. So what else do we talk about? So there's not that much more in the news cycle anymore. I think you can already hear the language of surrender from the opposition space. Look at what they did at the Abuja local elections. They barely turned up. And when they turned up, it's only to buy EPA at the roadside and then go back home. So it's just all done. So the conversations we could be having is who succeeds Tinubu in 2031, and I think we'll be introducing those sort of conversations gradually as the sessions go on. If we are, and by the way, there's something going on that might excite you somewhat, that might tickle you somewhat. Yemson Wike has set the date for the PDP presidential primary. So I think that's going to happen in May, if I remember correctly, but I've got it as one of the headlines. So that might spark a little bit of interest. Yemson Wike, the hand of Jacob, the voice of Esau, or however that phrase goes, an APC man running the main opposition party. So that's why we are not so much excited about the elections anymore. The only threat to the presidency, the APC, is being run by the first lieutenant of the president, which is Yemson Wike. So there's nothing going on there. So, but we'll still find things to talk about. The ministerial list, not the ministerial list, let me correct myself, the ambassadorial list that Tinubu has cobbled together, those are being rejected by the countries that those ambassadors have been assigned to. India are the first to reject them, but why are they rejecting them? So we'll get to that momentarily. We'll also get to Tinubu claiming that he was ordained by God to be the president of Nigeria. So that's boasting pro Marx. So another thing that might spark interest somewhat in the next 5-6 days, Tinubu will be in England for a state visit at the invitation of King Charles. But there's a lot going on in that space because they are now creating a no-fly zone over all of the spaces that Tinubu will be when he's in England. So they're creating a no-fly zone. So why are they taking that extra cautionary measure in terms of securing him? What have they heard? Are the obedience planning to bomb Tinubu when it comes to London? So we'll be speculating to that. And then we are saying the elections are over. The elections are over. APC representative membership. This is House of Rep members. So APC rep membership, now 268, as 12 rep members dump PDP, Labour Party for APC. So there is an AD as well. So I don't know what the complement of the House of Rep is. I think it's about 300 and something. But out of that 300 and something, 268 of them are APC members. And you are still talking about the elections. The people will be destructive. What did Obi tell us when we were telling him he had no structure in 2023? He told us the people will be he told us the people will be destructor. So the people will be destructor. So let the people be destructor as the victory takes its shape. So we have that as well. What else do we have? There was one more thing. Oh yes, the Dave Umahi versus the lady that said he wanted to wrestle her in the bedroom. So that story has taken somewhat of an unusual pivot. So it's pivoted in an unusual direction. So we'll be talking about that as well. So there's sufficient enough for us to still talk about. And hopefully when people start to talk up, to turn up, the conversation then takes an organic whatnot. So an organic whatnot. So lean back, kick back, take it easy, relax into it. Surrender yourself to however long you spend with the session. But before you surrender yourself, click on like as I invited you to do previously. So if you have not already clicked on like, please do that. Click on like. If you are not already subscribed, please do that. Subscribe. If you want to come and join me on the screen, click on the hyperlink that says StreamYard. That brings you into a studio. It brings you into this studio. And as soon as I've finished fleshing out the opening salvo, I'll let you onto the screen, then I'll invite your thoughts. So come into the studio and come engage with one man. And then I'll share the links as well there. So you can super chat towards the stream. Nobody does that anymore. But you're always encouraged to do that. So like I said, just surrender yourself to it. Come in and just come have a chat with one man. If you've never been on before, then I encourage you to come on. It's a pleasant experience. I'm a nice guy in most instances, and you may be pleasantly surprised but that I'm not the awful ogre that you thought I was. So all that. Shall we just get started? Let's remove this, and we bring this up. So let's get started. We start it off with this one. Actually, we do, you know, those meaningless data that we bring you sometimes. We bring you those meaningless data again. Average annual rent for 1-bedroom flat in Lagos by selected location 2026. So it's a 1-bedroom flat, which they call, and by the way, a 1-bedroom, I was going to say they call it a studio flat, but even a studio, good to see you, Uncle Beno. You'll be in the building. It's a vibe today. Oh, you know, somebody should do me a jingle, actually. There's nothing I delight in more than when I'm hearing you this jingle. You know, so now, we start off with this data. Average annual rent for 1-bedroom flat in Lagos by selected location. These are the prices as at 2026. So we go from the top end and we cascade all the way to the bottom. For a 1-bedroom flat for a year in Ikoyi, it will cost you 15 million naira. So I don't think that's too unreasonable for Ikoyi. In Victoria Island, it will cost you 8 million naira, and I don't think that is too unusual. I don't think that's excessive. So long as it's not boys' quarters. So, you know, usually 1-bedroom apartments in Nigeria are usually boys' quarters. So long as it's not boys' quarters, 8 million naira for a 1-bedroom apartment for 1 year in Victoria Island, it is not unreasonable. I don't think that's unreasonable. 15 billion naira for Ikoyi is not unreasonable. It's all about the cachet of the location. In Lekki, it will set you back 4 million naira. You know, if I hadn't seen these figures, I would have thought, if you had asked me without having these figures in front of me, I would have argued that a 1-bedroom apartment in Lekki would be round about 15 billion naira even. So that surprises me somewhat. In Maryland, it's 2.5 million naira. In Bagada, 2.5 million naira. Ikeja, 2.5 million naira. Shomolu is 2 million naira. Ogodu, 2 million naira as well. Yaba, you know, for a 1-bedroom apartment in Yaba is 2 million naira. Now, how much is 2 million naira? That's about £1,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment in Yaba for a year. £1,000. I mean, that surprises me. That's no money. In Magodo is 2 million naira. In Ilukweju is 2 million naira. In Surulere is 2 million naira. In K2 is 1.6 million naira. In Aja is 1.6 million naira. And they are telling us this. I'm not sure that these figures can be right. And this is coming from 30 cents, by the way. And they go by raw data. Average annual rent for 1-bedroom flat in Lagos by selected locations 2026. I'm alarmed actually that it can be this cheap. In Aja is 1.6, in Ojodu is 1.5, Mushi Olosha is 1.5 million naira, is Solo 1.5, Alimosho 1.2, Agege 1.2, Koshofe 1 million naira, Ibejuleki 1 million naira, Ipaja 900,000, Ikorodu. You can get a 1-bedroom apartment in Ikorodu, which is a reasonably decent area as well, though, for 450,000 naira. So I wouldn't hang my hat on those figures. They seem out of skew to me somewhat, that 8 million naira will rent you an apartment in Victoria Island. How is that possible? So now, before I show you this next list, I want you guys to speculate as to where Nigeria, why am I going so dark? Before I show you this next list, I want you to speculate as to where you think Nigeria falls well, in the paradigm, in the table. So before I show you the next list, I want you to speculate as to where you think Nigeria falls on the table. So the table is the most corrupt police forces in the world. So the most corrupt police forces in the world. Actually, I'll show you something else. I'll show you something else. I'll give you 1 minute to tell me in the comment section where you think Nigeria might fall in the global most corrupt police forces. So tell me where you think Nigeria might fall. So I'll leave that for the moment. Give you a minute to tell me, and then I'll come back to it next. So let me show you something else in between. I think we've just done this now. What else do we have? Oh, all right, let me show you this. Top highest paying government jobs in Nigeria. So the top highest paying government jobs. So which parastatal pays the most in Nigeria essentially is what that is asking. Top 10 highest paying government jobs in Nigeria. The Nigerian Ports Authority is the highest paid. So that surprises me somewhat because when they're saying highest paid, I'm assuming we're going by their official salary rather than their access to, to bribery and corruption. So if we're going by their official salary, they are telling us then that the highest paid parastatal, the highest paying parastatal in Nigeria is the Nigerian Ports Authority. So that surprises me somewhat. At the central bank, which you thought would be the highest paid, is number 2. NNPC, which you thought would be higher than even the central bank. You'd have thought NNPC would be number 1. It's number 3. Nigeria in Diaspora Commission. This is the Abike Dabiri Arewa space. That's number 4. Nigeria Communications Commission. That's number 5. Bureau of Public Enterprises. That's number 6. But what they could have done is to give us somewhat of the average salary of these spaces. Number 7 is the Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. Federal Inland Revenue Service is number 8. Bank of Industry number 9. Number 10, Energy Commission of Nigeria. So the highest paying parastatal in Nigeria, surprisingly, is the Nigerian Ports Authority. So now, where does Nigeria fall in the hierarchy of corrupt police services? The most corrupt police forces in the world, they are the most corrupt without equivocation by a reasonable distance is Honduras. Honduras followed by Paraguay in Number 2. Venezuela that Trump recently took over is number 3. Uganda number 4. Guatemala number 5. Ukraine, which is currently under war, is number 6. Number 7 is Mexico. Tanzania number 8. Dominican Republic number 9. Kenya number 10. Cameroon number 11. And Nigeria is number 12. So Nigeria has the 12th most corrupt police force in the world. I'm not quite sure how they've done the crunching, but what's the number 50 is Angola. The Angolan police, they are less corrupt than the Turkish police, the Puerto Rican police. There's no first world country here. They're pretending as though there's no corruption in the first world. Argentina is there as well, actually. Yes, but so there it is right there. Nigeria is the 12th. We have the 12th most corrupt police force in the world. This is according to what this data is telling us right there. So let's go on from there to where are we going to now? Oh, okay. Let's kick it off now with the Dave Umahi narrative. Do you remember this lady that came out and told us that Dave Umahi is owing her money and is making sexual advances towards her? Her name is Tracy Ohili, and here is her story. So let's tell me if you can hear it in the comment section. So we pick it up from here.
This same number. He sent me a phone, an SMS that I insulted him. I will teach you a lesson. So I gave him time. After 1 year and 8 months.
Tell me in the comment section if you can hear the audio.
So I started asking him for my payment. While I'm asking for my payment, David is asking me out. While I'm asking for my payment, David is asking me to date him. I told him, sir, one day I got so frustrated. I said, sir, can you concentrate and pay me my money? Stop telling me about dating. You have told you I cannot date you. He became angry and hung up on me. The next thing, he sent me a message which is on my phone right now by David Umahi's number. Everybody that knows David knows this same number. He sent me a phone, an SMS that I insulted him. I will teach you a lesson for insulting me. I can show it to the whole Nigerians. I can show that text message to the whole Nigerians.
All right. So now this lady here, I think a lot of you actually know the backstory of this one. This lady here, she's telling us that she's a contractor that did a contract for Dave Umahi when he was the governor of Ebonyi State. So that's the first bit. And then the second bit is that she's telling us that Dave Umahi did not pay the full invoice of that contract. That's the second bit. And then the third bit is she's telling us that Dave Umahi, by extension, the Abia State government, they're still owing the better part of 400 million naira. So that's the fourth bit. But the other bit is that she's telling us that Dave Umahi was trying to sleep with her. So that's the fourth bit. So now Dave Umahi is not the first spec. When you are looking at the male physiology, it might not be the most attractive man in the world. He's certainly not as handsome as I am. Nobody on this planet is as handsome as I am. So Dave Umahi might not be the first spec, but you would rate that Dave Umahi, if he wants to sleep with somebody, if he wants to, because Dave Umahi has a wife, so it will essentially be a side chick. If Dave Umahi wanted a side chick, it will not be somebody of this woman's age, you would imagine, or even her look, because she looks very much late 40s, mid 40s, thereabout, and she's probably not the most attractive woman on the planet. So it's very difficult then that Dave Umahi will be trying aggressively to sleep with this woman. It just doesn't correlate. He's a very wealthy man. He's a very powerful man. He has his peak of all of these young girls that throw themselves at that space. He can go on Instagram and pick up an Instagram baddie. So what imagine, compare and contrast this woman with an Instagram baddie, you know? So it doesn't correlate that she will suggest that Dave Umahi wants to sleep with her, but that's her narrative, and that is what she's pushing into the public space. But it gets more interesting, so stay with it.
So I gave him time. After 1 year and 8 months, I started asking him for my payment. While I'm asking for my payment, David is asking me out. While I'm asking for my payment, David is asking me to date him. I told him, sir, one day I got so frustrated. I said, sir, can you concentrate and pay me my money? Stop telling me about dating. You have told you I cannot date you. He became angry and hung up on me. The next thing, he sent me a message which is on my phone right now by David Umahi's number. Everybody that knows David knows this same number. He sent me a phone, an SMS that I insulted him. I will teach you a lesson for insulting me. I can show it to the whole Nigerians. I can show that text message to the whole Nigerians. He said, I will deal with you for insulting me. So that was it. Since that day, he blocked me. He never picks my call again. Sometimes if I ask for my payment, he will tell me that God is busy. I said, have mercy on me and give me my money. Let me pay my children's school fees. He will tell me that God is busy. So he blocked me and he never took my number. So when I use another number and call David Umahi that, sir, I'm coming to your state. And when I get to your state, I will block the government house. There, no vehicle will go in or out until you pay me. Do you know what David told me? David told me that if I get to a point, that I will not come out alive. I said, why wouldn't I come out alive? Are you not owing me? He said, what happened to those Nila engineers will also happen to me. That was the last time I spoke with David Umahi. So when my dad became sick, I needed to fly him to the US for proper treatment. I said, I have money. Why will I have money and be suffering like this? I started reaching out to David through other phones because he has blocked my number. He said, let your father die if he needs to die. That was what David told me. So when my dad died, I was so angry. I came on social media. Remember, all these years since 2015, I have not brought it to social media. When my dad, the day my dad died and he was put in the mortuary, the next day I came on social media and started asking Nigerians to please come to my help. calling on Mr. President to plead with David Umahi to pay me my money. I am asking for my payment. My money is my right. I took risk with my staff to take this job to Ebonyi State. Shortly, David Umahi sent policemen to my house. I just dropped my children off at school. Getting back, I've not even had my bed. They arrested me and brought me straight to Abuja here. And do you know the shocking thing? The most shocking thing I've ever witnessed in my life is David Umahi in my face when he was brought for an interactive section with me by his boy in the police station, in the police force that he's using. Fakorode, David looked me in the eyes and said he has never met me. He said it yesterday. I have never met this woman before. I'm only meeting her for the first time. I almost died. David Umahi said he has never met me. I brought my pictures with David Umahi. I brought evidence showing me and David Umahi in his office as a deputy governor. Fakorede said, how are we?
All right. So this woman made a real splash in the media space to the point that people like Showore, ever the crusader, he hopped on board of that narrative and he started to make noise about it. So here is the woman as she continues with her noise making. So let's pick the story up from here.
David Umahi, whose video has been circulating on the internet, where he's parading himself as a dangerous man. He wants me to be sent to SACS. I don't know what he's planning to do to my life. He's holding my money, took me away from my family. David Umahi, who parades himself as a dangerous man all over the internet, he's taking me to SACS, where they keep criminals. I am not owing him. He's the one that has been owing me for 12 years. He's still the one lying. How can a Nigerian politician, liar, he said he has never met me. Police saw all the evidence and they're calling it black. He's using them. If anything happened to me, Nigerians, take note that you will hold David Umahi and Nigerian police responsible. He has taken me away from my family. Why is with his own family? And he's still the one owing me. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, this corruption cannot happen under your watch. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, your minister is corrupt. This cannot continue to happen under your watch. For how long will I continue to use Nigerian police like this?
All right, so that's the latest. That's not the latest installment. So that's her doubling down on the position that she adopted. So Tracy Ohiri, that's her name, and now here she is now. So here is the latest installment now in this saga, which was never ending, but it looks as though it may end now. So here now is the latest installment. Hold on, is that on the screen? Let me put this up. Oh, here now is the latest installment in this saga. Listen very carefully to what she says now.
Good day, Nigerians. After proper consultation with my family, friends, and legal team, and a painstaking review of events of the past weeks, I have come to the conclusion that it's important we give peace a chance. I admit that Engineer Deacon David Umahi, the former governor of Ebonyi State and the current Minister of Works, did not inform me that what happened to the Neyland engineers would happen to me if I visit Ebonyi State. I do not know the Neyland engineers except.
Are you hearing that? Are you hearing what that lady is saying right there? So she's made all this splash all over, and this is very consistent with the obedient space, by the way. She's made all this splash all over the media space. She has besmirched and defamed this guy, besmirched his name, defamed him, attacked his reputation, smeared him endlessly. There was even another clip where she said David Umahi was tying a towel around his waist and chasing her around a hotel room. She did all this only now to land on this sort of Do you remember we had another one, some girl that came out of some hostel in a school accusing a boy of raping her, only for them for that boy's name to have been damaged completely, and then she came out a week later to tell us she made it all up. So here is a woman, I'm even being kind, though. She must be past 50 now, just from looking at her. And she's making up stories about sexual, just like we had with Natasha Akote as well, with Gosula Pabio. So this now seems to be the new now weapon that Nigerian women are using.
Good day, Nigerians. After proper consultation with my family, friends, and legal team, and a painstaking review of events of the past weeks, I have come to the conclusion that it's important we give peace a chance. I admit that Engineer Deacon David Umahi, the former governor of Ebonyi State and the current Minister of Works, did not inform me that what happened to the Netherlands engineers would happen to me if I visit Ebonyi State. I do not know the Netherlands engineers except what I read about them on the internet and what I heard from people. I apologize to Engineer Deacon David Umahi for the embarrassment this allegation may have caused him and his family. I sincerely apologize to his family, to my own family, friends, and everyone who felt hurt and embarrassed with what happened. I never said Engineer Deacon David Umahi tied towel to meet me in a hotel room. I apologize if the allegations have been magnified and taken out of context. My family and I have decided to move on and face our lives and business. And we want everyone to respect this decision. On the issue of the contract, I admit there was no formally signed agreement between Deacon David Umahi and I. Although the job was done and delivered to his aides, they might have used the material for campaign purposes without informing him and without him knowing about it. I apologize sincerely for any misgivings that this might have caused. Thank you so much, and God bless each and every one of us. Thank you.
So now the question is, should it end with that apology? That's the thing. Because too often now we're getting these things happening with too much frequency. We saw it with Natasha Akote that told us that what's it called? Godswill Akpabio was groping her, even though there were about 50 other senators there, to the point that Senator Nwaboze, he came out to call her a liar because the lie was so blatant. And then, of course, examples of that, of so many women coming out to make this allegation and then recant it later. So should she be allowed to get away with this and just walk away scot-free? That's the thing. I think this woman should serve jail time. You know, she should serve jail time for this. That, no, I didn't really mean it to. I was taken out of context. What do you mean you were taken out of context? We saw videos of you saying it. The words were coming out of your mouth now. So how can you take your own utterance out of context? What is the context other than the utterances that you put out in the public space? You know, what level of nonsense is this now? I mean, it's getting unconscionable now. And maybe like an example should be made out of this woman. But then, of course, the usual suspect, they won't let her get away with that. It says, this is Ashowore, who has been taking hold of that space to use it for his adultery something. He's not letting it go. David Umahi versus Tracy Nitha Ohiri. When the powerless recant, Nigeria must look beyond the apology. So they are not allowing her. Of course, they'll say she was coerced into it, she was bullied into it, she was paid off to make the retraction and all that. Well, so that would be the narrative then of the people that just they don't want any goods to come out of anything. Let's take a little bit of how Arise TV is handling that story. So let's have a listen to this.
300 million naira.
What happened there? Let's go back. All right, let's see how Arise TV is handling this. You know, they won't let it go, of course.
As Tracy O'Heary, the woman who accused the Minister of Works, David Umahi, of making sexual advances towards her and owing her over 300 million naira for campaign materials, has now gone on camera to publicly retract every allegation she made against the minister. Let's take a look.
After proper consultation with my family, friends, and legal team, and a painstaking review of events of the past weeks, I have come to the conclusion and what I heard from on the issue of and without him knowing about
Retraction there that, she never accused Umahi of tying a towel to meet her in a room. But there is video evidence. Let's take a look.
All the while we went to the States, this man never gave me money for fuel. He never gave us accommodation. I used to pay in his hotel. Also, I used to pay money in his hotel for myself and my staff. The only time he lodged, he asked us to stay in his house. The man did not allow me to sleep. He tied towel on his waist and came into my room and was pestering me. I have to tell him, okay, wait, let me give my staff a Bible. I ran away from the place where he was and entered my staff room and they locked it. That was where I slept because of David Umahi's disturbance.
All right.
You see lies. You see lies. So that woman's lies is even of a higher grade than Natasha Akpoti.
Rufy on fire. You have a lot to say.
I have a lot to say as regards this matter. Number one, she's done this video, and apparently from that video, it shows that she was reading from somewhere. We would like to know the back end. And I'm talking as an investigative.
No, if she was reading from somewhere, then she would have prepared a script. So she has prepared an apology note and she's read it out. So what's mystifying about that? So what's the mystery about that? She's prepared an apology note because she wants to get the apology word perfect, and then she's reading from that apology. So what's the mystery about her reading an apology note that she wrote? So this guy, man, is just is the biggest buffoon on the Nigerian media space.
Person now. We'd like to know the back end. We'd like to know what the script was like, because obviously at some point the paper moves, because I've seen the video a couple of times. All the things she's not denied, all of the things she said before. So what is really going on? Is it that she has selective amnesia?
We don't know. I'm not her medical.
No, I said, is it that she has I'm not saying it's a rhetorical question. You don't answer a rhetorical question, actually. Does she have
really? I did.
Look at that. Thank God for his education. Oh, this semi-illiterate telling somebody you don't answer a rhetorical question. Do you remember when he used to quote philosophers? According to Russell Bucco, according to Yogan Pababan, according to Confucius once said, Nihi once said, all this ridiculous, its insecurity just oozes out of the studio, out of the screens, like a pungent odor.
I didn't know that. Thank you, Professor Rufai, for educating me on national television. I was just even I thought the same thing.
Does she have selective amnesia?
Even I thought the same thing.
For her to now come now and all the things she said before, the evidence she brought out, as regards a text message sent before now. There's a show called Kai Truth's Podcast that she went on about 6 days ago, where she called 2 or 3 of us members of staff that did bear witness. One of them bore witness to the incident, how she ran into the room to come and meet them that day when she said, that she was running away from Umahi.
You know, the story falls apart for me when she starts to allege that Dave Umahi was trying to sleep with her. It's not that Dave Umahi is not a Letario. That's not the argument. Every Nigerian man is a Letario. The more powerful you are, the more you feel that every woman around you is there for your pleasure. But she's not of sufficient enough of the quality. She's not. If I was Dave Umahi, I wouldn't even look at that woman twice. Only to give her the respect. Oh, thank you, madam. Here is your check for what you did. if we need you again, we'll call you. That's it now. Why would Dave Umahi want to still sleep with somebody like that? You know, when Dave Umahi was saying if it was Natasha that was accusing him, I wasn't quite sure what it meant because I didn't even know what the woman looked like. But now, having seen the woman, you can see what Dave Umahi was saying, that if it was even Natasha now, you would still understand, but not somebody of that. Is that how the saying goes? She's not of the quality now for Dave Umahi to be chasing around the hotel room.
Is it that all of that is not true or valid? The next point will be, what now happens to the defamation case? Does it mean that the case is out of court? Thirdly, the money she claimed she's been owed, does it mean that she's forgotten the money, or has she been paid? So those are the questions we are asking. And those are the questions that she now has to answer, because it doesn't fall on Umahi again. It falls on Tracy herself. If she has a vote fast all of a sudden, then it makes mockery of all what she said. And I think she should be taken.
It's not vote fast, by the way. It's called vote face. It's not. You see, even attempts at words, it's called vote face. It's not vote fast.
Taking up now, she must be pressed to be able to give us details of all that transpired. She cannot just take Nigerians on a 360-degree vote fast and say all of this without us knowing what transpired at the back end. And it's best she speaks, because our integrity or our personality is damaged forever.
All right.
So we must be
harassment, because this was a big part of this.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was important to play that clip.
Yes, where she made allegations of sexual harassment by the minister. And the argument for this is that when you retract statements like that, or you make flippant statements like that, you invalidate women who are going through the same thing. And that's why they'll laugh and say everybody brings up sexual harassment. And I recall that.
But this is not even the first or second instance of this wolf crying by Nigerian women trying to use that narrative to blackmail VIPs. We saw it with Natasha, as I said. We've seen endless cycles of this sort of narrative, and this now the latest incarnation of it, and we'll see even more. So it starts to lose its power when you are falsely accused and then very quickly retract. It starts to lose its power.
When she did, some people were saying that, oh, how do you prove it? Every woman is coming to say this, and it's insulting to others who have a serious case around it. And that's why I believe that either she's further probed or she faces penalties. So anyone who falsely accuses anybody should also face a penalty. Because if not, this is a big issue. You should not make light of issues that are facing Nigerian women and women across the world, and then bandy it around, come with pictures. Because there was also a denial that I've never met Tracy before. She came with picture evidence that they've actually had interactions before. Where does that all go? This is no longer
doctored pictures.
Oh, really?
She has not said
it was doctored.
It's a rhetorical answer. You don't question it. It's a rhetorical answer. But anyways, can I say that I am not surprised, because I have, last week we had seen videos of her actually retracting some of the allegations she's made against other people. We actually played it a couple of weeks ago on What's Trending. So I'm not actually surprised. I was expecting this sort of retraction to occur.
Well, all right. That might be deemed judgmental. Let's just take things as face value.
Well, I have my opinion.
It's literally Natasha Akpoti Mark II. Do you remember when Natasha Akpoti made similar allegations against Reno Mokri? Only then, for the time period that she was alleging against Reno Mokri, then Reno Mokri was not even in the country, never mind being at the event, to the point that she had to retract and pay Reno Mokri compensation, but not learning the lessons from that. She then goes on again to, and there's been so many lives destroyed by Natasha Akpoti, by the way, with all those sort of allegations. Apparently, allegedly, she blackmailed her husband as well, to the point of marrying her. Now we're seeing with this woman now, who is a serial accuser and a serial retractor. But then, of course, the obedience space, they're not happy with that. As you can hear from the one of their champions, Rufai Oseni.
it might be deemed judgmental.
I have my opinion.
I mean, I'm just saying, you have your opinion.
I have
but
my
it doesn't
opinion.
make
Rufy on
it
fire.
doesn't make it
Go
valid.
ahead.
That's just it.
It
Let's be
doesn't make your
careful.
opinion valid either.
So
So
let's
make
just
sure
be
that you know
careful.
that, so that whenever you express an opinion, know that it's
Yeah,
not
it doesn't
valid,
make
may
it
not be
valid, but that's
Go ahead.
judgmental in nature. That's also indicting
No,
my
I
personality.
have my opinion.
Yeah, but
Rufy,
let's be
what's the
careful.
issue?
No,
I have
that's
my
not,
opinion.
there's no issue.
I will say it again. I have my opinion.
Your opinion
Go
doesn't
ahead.
supersede others. That's
Why are you arguing? What is
Dr.
this?
Bati, go ahead.
It's okay.
No, but what is this? What
Dr.
is the
Bati, go ahead,
argument?
please.
It's okay.
Let me
No, but
just
what
let's
is
just
the
say what I
argument
want to say in
about?
1 minute.
So what you're hearing, and we're seeing it right across the board, is the language of fed upness with the excesses of this short little guy with a man breast. You know, they call it moves, don't they? A man with breast as big as Rufai was saying, they call it moves. But you can hear the language of fed upness. We are seeing increasingly Ruben Abati push aggressively against the excesses of Rufai Husseini, but even the mild-mannered of Ojiope, very mild-mannered, very neutral, very just giggly most of the time. She's now getting fed up with his excesses. Is getting all the guests are fed up with him. They don't want to come on their studio anymore. Now even his colleagues are saying, look, man, don't be an idiot all your life. You know, don't be an idiot for all of your life.
But
Rufai,
let's be
what's
careful.
the issue?
No,
I have
that's
my
not,
opinion.
there's no issue.
I will say it again. I have my opinion.
Your opinion
Go
doesn't
ahead.
supersede others.
Why are you arguing? What is
Dr.
this?
Bati, go ahead.
It's okay.
No, but what is this?
So that's the fed upness right there. It's those two words, those repeated words. What is this? What's going on here? Are you all right? Are you having a mental episode? Are you suffering from some brain fade? Are you? I was going to say, did your girlfriend not sleep with you? But he doesn't have a girlfriend, though. Did his boyfriend not do the necessary before he left the house this morning? What's the what you know? Is that what is this? I want you to listen to the exasperation in that voice. People are just fed up with the excesses of. It's just getting it's getting unbearable now. Even his colleagues cannot bear him.
Yeah, but
Rufai,
let's be
what's the
careful.
issue?
No,
I have
that's
my
not,
opinion.
there's no issue.
I will say it again. I have my opinion.
Your opinion
Go
doesn't
ahead.
supersede others.
Why are you arguing? What is
Dr.
this?
Bati, go ahead.
It's okay.
No, but what is this? What
Dr.
is the
Bati, go ahead,
argument?
please.
It's okay.
Let me
No, but
just
what
let's
is
just
the
say
what I
argument
want to say in
about?
1 minute.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I say the thing speaks for itself.
It does.
The
What is
other
the
day,
big deal?
When the story
What are you arguing
came
about?
up, I had raised issues about flying the kite, about gender narrative, and also about a woman finding herself in a compromised position, on the basis of the evidence presented before us then. Now, later that same day, I saw kinds of nincompoops abusing me on social media, saying I wasn't defending the woman. But now the woman has used her own mouth to retract whatever she said publicly, and the thing is everywhere. The question to ask is that it's not only Minister Umahi that she has to apologize to. All the other people that she has abused and hiring social media rats to abuse those persons, including my good self, she also owes us an apology.
Why you rats to abuse you?
But yes.
She did.
Of course.
You have evidence. She
I have evidence. I have evidence. She has abusing you.
Abusing you. Okay.
You also said that you are an investigative journalist.
No, she was
Go and
investigate.
You also said that you saw that they were reading in a prompter. You said you thought that she was
Nobody was obvious she was reading now. Look at her eyeline now.
That might be deep
Come.
judgmental.
Look at the eyeline.
That might be deep judgmental.
Please go ahead.
No,
Dr. Bati wants to make a point. Go ahead.
Now, the thing to now ask is, do we have it on record that Minister Umahi has now accepted the apology?
We don't know.
We can say all we can say, but I think we would like to know if the minister has now said, "Oh, I've accepted your apology. Defamation case, I've instructed my lawyer to go and withdraw it." That's the remaining part of the story.
All right. So that was that. So that's the ever increasing instances of false allegations by Nigerian women. So that was that. So we go through what we have left. I'll give you the headlines. I'll send the link in again. Anybody that wants to come in, come in. I'll give you the readout on this one because it's the headline one. India orders reject Tinubu's envoys over tenor policy. Pardon me. Pardon me. So that's the headline piece. India, others reject Tinubu's envoys over tenor policy. So the Indians are sending the Nigerian ambassador back, but why? India and other yet to be disclosed countries have declined to accept some of President Bola Tinubu's recently posted ambassador designate due to diplomatic policies that discourage receiving envoys from administrations with less than 2 years remaining in office. So that's the reason. It's reasons of they don't even know if Tinubu will be the president. It's not that they are speculating that Tinubu would not be the president. I know that would be the spin by the obedience space, but as a policy position, an administration that has less than 2 years tenure left as a policy position, they don't want to accept the envoy from there because they'll do all of the ceremonies of settling this guy in. Then if the government changes, then the guy has to leave. India and other yet to be disclosed countries have declined to accept some of President Bola Tinubu's recently posted ambassador designates due to diplomatic policies that discourage receiving envoys from administrations with less than 2 years remaining in office. High-ranking officials in the presidency and the foreign service disclosed on Tuesday that India, where career diplomat Ambassador Mohammad Dahiru has been designated to serve, maintains a standing policy against accepting ambassadors from governments with tenure of less than 2 years remaining. Pardon me. Correspondents gathered that the Asian giant is exercising its discretionary powers to turn down the Ministry of Foreign Affairs request to accept Dahiru's posting. The development confirms an earlier exclusive report by correspondents in which some sources revealed that storms were brewing for many of Tinubu's ambassador designates who faced the prospect of rejection by host countries due to time constraints on their tenure. 3 separate sources familiar with the matter who spoke on condition of anonymity due to the sensitive nature of diplomatic negotiations said the federal government was already receiving signals from New Delhi and possibly some other capitals about their reluctance to grant agreement. So agreement here is that agreement, though, that's the Yoruba crossover right there. That agreement is somewhat of is spelled agree with 1 E rather than 2 E. So it's a French sort of word, which I think is unique or peculiar to diplomatic something. Agreement that's how it should be pronounced, I suspect. Agreement is the formal approval given to a receiving country to accept a diplomat designate by the sending country, and it is a prerequisite before an ambassador can assume duty. They don't accept an ambassador from an administration that has less than 2 years in office. So they are giving us that body language already, a presidency source said. The source continued, some countries are reluctant to accept some people, not because of the individual, but because of the time. They are already seeing the Tinubu government as an outgoing government. So their concern is that he has just 1 year left. So what if he doesn't win the election? Another government may come and remove them. We also understand that some countries have this policy. Any ambassador from an administration that has less than a year or 2 in office will not get accepted. And one of such countries is India. A second source, a senior foreign service official, confirmed India's position, but expressed hope that Nigeria could leverage its relationship with New Delhi to secure an exception. I know India has that policy. If you are less than 2 years to the end of the tenure, there will be difficulties accepting an ambassador. Maybe we can leverage our relationship with them to scale through. Of course, there are those amongst them who gauge political tides, and some may see that this government can win the next election. Perhaps they may see that the election may not be so competitive because virtually everybody has moved towards the APC. They may say the chances of APC victory are high. That is one of the arguments the government will push forward, the official said. The source emphasized that while India is the only country with a confirmed policy against short tenure ambassadors, other countries may follow similar conventions. India is the only one I can confirm to you now. The others will be based on their convention and practices, but the one I know for sure is India. We will have to do a lot of convincing because they have a standing rule. A third official disclosed that whilst the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has secured funding for the mandatory induction course for ambassador designates, the timeline remains uncertain. On the training, we don't know when for now, but the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has the funds already to undertake the induction, the source said. President Tinubu on Friday, March the 6th, approved the posting of 65 ambassador designates and high commissioners to various countries and the United Nations, with Ambassador Dahiru assigned to serve in New Delhi. Amongst the 65 nominees are former aviation minister Femi Fani-Kayode, Germany, presidential aide Reno Mokri, Mexico, a former chief of army staff Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Dambazao, China, and Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, United Nations permanent rep. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has so far only received agreement from the United Kingdom for High Commissioner designate Aminu Dalhatu, and from France for Ambassador Oyedele Oke, leaving the fate of the remaining 63 envoys uncertain. The Independent National Electoral Commission has scheduled the presidential election for January the 16th, Tinubu's first tenure to conclude in May that year. So yes, that's exactly what it is. I'm not quite sure. I think so that's that. So India now telling the Aboki being sent by Tinubu to get lost, essentially what that is telling us right there. So the Aboki should get lost is what India is saying. Let's go to this one. God ordained me Nigeria's president. This is Tinubu. So why would he make such a provocative comment? President Bola Tinubu has stated that his emergence as Nigeria's president was part of a divine plan. Tinubu made the declaration whilst reiterating his commitment to good governance, adherence to the rule of law, and the preservation of democratic values in the country. The president spoke at the presidential villa in Abuja during an interfaith iftar, where he hosted members of the National Working Committee of the All Progressive Congress APC, alongside leaders of the Interfaith Advisory Council. In a statement released by spokesperson Bayo Onanuga, the president emphasized the importance of strengthening electoral institutions, processes, and systems across political parties. Tinubu also advocated for the adoption of direct primaries, saying the system would allow party members to participate more actively in choosing candidates for various political offices. Describing himself as a committed Democrat, the president pledged to continue working towards Nigeria's unity whilst upholding the rule of law. Some of us have been bruised, struggling for it. We were detained, we protested, We had street demonstrations. We went into exile and all of that. We formed NADECO. I followed the leadership destiny that God has chosen for me. There is no doubt about it. So it's God's candidate. Look at that. God is an APC card carrying member. Is what the white powder sniffing guy from Bodleian is at. Look at that. The audacity. So let's go on to this one. King Charles hosts Nigerians in diaspora ahead of Tinubu's visit. So why didn't I get an invite? Is the thing. Am I not a Nigerian in diaspora? King Charles III hosted a reception for the Nigerian diaspora in the United Kingdom, a celebratory prelude to the historic state visit of President Bola Tinubu scheduled for next week. This was a full-blown celebration of Nigerian excellence, complete with the aroma of party jollof and soulful sounds of Afrobeat orchestras. In the photos shared by the royal family, King Charles looked very happy. The king was seen engaging warmly with Nigerians. It was a wonderful evening, the royal family officials' statement noted, specifically thanking everyone who joined. This was a major event to show respect to the millions of Nigerians who helped to keep the United Kingdom running, from the doctors and nurses to the tech kings and music stars, and the creme de la creme of the Nigerian community was there to represent the green, white, green. The United Kingdom is rolling out the red carpet to discuss trade, security, and the jackpot trend that has seen thousands of Nigerian professionals move to British shores. The palace served jollof rice, the legendary African dish, and the Dele Sosimi Afrobeat Orchestra provided the music. So that's the Dele Sosimi, I suspect. Look at that. I've never heard of him in my life. Nigeria is a member of the Commonwealth, a group of 56 countries that work together. King Charles III does not rule Nigeria, but he maintains a close friendship with the country. You know, Charles is very much a very Nigerian. You know, he even speaks Pidgin. You hear him speak Pidgin, you think he's from our body or something. The British throne didn't start its relationship with Nigeria as a government. It started with business. In the 1800s, the British companies came to the coast of West Africa to trade things like palm oil and ivory. By 1861, the British moved in officially by taking over Lagos. Over the next few years, they pushed further inland. They used a company called the Royal Niger Company to run things. But by 1900, the British Crown, the King and Queen, took direct control. So you need to know these things. Anyway, some of you that don't know our history. In 1914, a man named Lord Lugard joined the North and South together to create one country called Nigeria. From that moment until 1960, the King or Queen of England had the final say for everyone in Nigeria. The British didn't have enough people to stay in every village, so they used a system called indirect rule. They allowed the local kings, obas, emirs, and obis to keep their titles and handle small daily issues. However, the British gave the orders on the big things, like taxes, laws, and where the resources went. Whilst the British built some roads and railways, they did it mostly so they could move Nigerian resources out to the coast and ship them back to the United Kingdom. After the Second World War ended in 1945, Nigerians who had traveled abroad and studied began to ask for their own country. Leaders like Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo, and Ahmedu Bello started to challenge the British. They used newspapers and protests to show that Nigerians were ready to lead themselves. The British throne recognized they couldn't hold on forever. They started holding meetings in London, the Lancaster House conferences, to plan how Nigeria became one, I should say. So that's just Nigerians in diaspora then being hosted as a prelude to Tinubu's visit. So that's that one there. So here is this one here. APC reps membership now 268 as 12 rep members dumped PDP Labour Party for APC ADC. The gale of defection sweeping through the National Assembly due to an internal crisis in the opposition parties has swelled the ranks of the All Progressive Congress APC to about 268 members in the House of Representatives. The African Democratic Congress ADC, which before now had only one member in Joseph Leke Abejide, now has 7 members, following the defection of 6 members to the party. So that's that. At the inauguration on the 23rd of June 2023, the APC had about 181 members. So from 181 members, now they have 268. So that's nearly double. They've nearly doubled in size just from their defections. So that's that. APC controls virtually everything in Nigeria now. I wonder how the opposition are going to fare. So we've done David Umahi versus the girl. So let's do this last one. Let me send the link again. Anyone that wants to come in, come in. If you don't want to come in, then that's entirely up to you. So that's the link right there. Anybody that wants to come in, come in. So let's do now this last one. Still around the president's visit to the UK. UK police announced airspace restrictions, heightened security for Tinubu's visit. So this, of course, all wrapped around the obedience who would attempt at his life in the UK. The United Kingdom authorities have announced extensive security arrangements in Windsor ahead of the state visit of President Bola Tinubu. In a statement on Tuesday, Thames Valley Police said it will enforce enhanced measures, including temporary airspace restrictions, traffic restrictions, and a large security presence. So they are all in anticipation of, because they know what the obedience are like, they will maybe they want to come and try and shoot him there, who knows. The Nigerian leader is expected to be hosted by King Charles next week between the 17th and 18th of March. The police described the visit as a historic occasion, said there will be restrictions on movement for the residents of Windsor starting on Tuesday, 17th of March. Thames Valley Police is working with the Royal Bureau of Windsor and Maidenhead, the royal household, and other key partners to ensure the safety of those attending the event and the wider public. As a force, we have a vast amount of experience in policing royal events in Windsor, and significant planning and preparation has gone into this event. We will ensure everyone attending the state visit, including dignitaries and spectators, as well as the public, are kept safe to enjoy the historic occasion. I might even go to Windsor, you know. Maybe I'll go and stream from there. That should wind them up a little bit. It also stated that the Windsor Castle is subject to a year-round flight restrictions. But on Wednesday, the 18th of March, the zone will expand. Anyway, that's security measures for Tinubu's visits to the UK. So in anticipation of the excesses of the obedience. So that's that. Like I said, there's not an abundance in the news. I'll play you the Kegite music. The link is in the comment section if anybody wants to come up. I'll play you the Kegite music and then we'll see what happens after that.
Only water. Water, only water, where they see ma. Water, 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 water.
Only water, where they see ma.
Hapa o naido. Hapa o naido. Hapa you don't come o. Hapa o naido. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Ilé sọ́díyà kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Bobby master kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Chief Wáìlà tí kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mùdé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùdóde ojàre o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ bọ́ọ̀dì o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Olúyẹ̀lá ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosoname ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosodunke ẹ̀yẹ rẹ̀ ó dilé o. Ẹlẹ́kọ̀ ọ̀run mú ìní o. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́kọ̀. Ikú kò ní ríwà gbéṣe o.
And it is right there. May that have nothing to do with us. Joining us, Zita. Hopefully, Zita is there. Zita, are you there? Oh, all right. We don't appear to have Zita fully, so I'll just bail out here. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow.